Hello, this is a quick guide to the fallen S.A.B.E.R Grandmaster Nightfall. This Grandmaster Nightfall has anti-barrier and overload champions, also has void and arc shields. There's one arc shield at the start that we'll probably skip, and a couple of void shielded servitors at the end. Also arc burn is on, so we deal more arc damage but take a lot of arc damage as well. So to deal with that, we're bringing arc titans. Got storm grenades, touch of thunder, magnitude and shock, which make our storm grenades really powerful. Pair that with heart of inmost light, we'll be spamming abilities, trying to get lots and lots of grenades. Paired with bomber, amplitude and overload grenades, makes the overload grenades very potent. I'm using a few elemental well mods as well to get firepower, to give me lots of grenades. Anti-barrier wish ender with forbearance, which is great for ad clear as well with arc burn, and an arc rocket.
It'd be a shame to lose him.
Frozen using a similar arc titan build with hard and most light and the storm grenades, but he's got anti-barrier succession, overload bow, and a Gallahorn. And then Remedy is slightly different. He's bringing hard of most light, but he's bringing a void titan, so he's able to spam the void abilities, give us a bubble for a buff on the boss room, anti-barrier sniper, overload trinity ghoul, which works well as well, and an arc rocket. So at the start here, there is a bit of a cheese to get past the Warsat, where you don't need to kill any of the enemies, and you can just capture the Warsat by sitting there in an emote. So we'll show doing that. It's faster. The enemies here aren't too bad if you decide to kill them. Just take out the turrets on the ships. You do get a couple of champions, but luckily we still kill the champions as well. They don't disappear once we've finished the cheese. So to do the cheese, what you do is start scanning the Warsat, and then you want to kind of get into a good position with a sitting emote. So there's a few sitting emotes that work, but basically you want to kind of get as much as you can into this groove here. There are other spots that work as well, but I go here, I turn around, I see that little thing sticking out there, and that's where I kind of use my sitting emote. What that does is it puts your character kind of inside the Warsat a bit, and it makes it so the enemies won't attack you. So we'll start the scan. Get inside the Warsat. Start sitting, and this should allow us to just capture it without having to deal with the enemies. We'll see if it works if they start attacking me. Main thing you're looking for is that your head is inside the Warsat. Because even though my legs are sticking out, it doesn't really matter. That seems like the enemies target your head. If the head's covered, they don't attack. You'll see the champions spawn as well, but like I said, we'll kill those champions at the end anyway. You can see that's the first overload spawning now. My enemy's right on me and they're not attacking me, so this shows that it works. If it doesn't work and you end up dying, you got two options, either your enemies or your allies, sorry. For me, my allies are just hiding out over there in a cave. They can just hide anywhere basically where they're not going to get killed by the ships coming in. But you can they can come and try and res you. That can be kind of sketchy though. It might be easier just to restart if you screw it up and just try it again. You can also try practicing this emote thing on a normal strike. And if it works, go into the GM. You can see all the enemies are just around me. Not attacking though, because my head is covered inside the Warsat. There are certain percentages that spawn the next ads. I believe in a previous Grandmaster Nightfall video, one of our previous guides, I go over when the waves of enemies spawn. So if you are interested in that, you can watch our previous Exodus Crash one, where I talk about that if you're not using the cheese and you are killing all the enemies. I actually show off, taking out the turrets on the ships, how to control the ad spawns, and those types of things. Also, as soon as you get to 100%, all the enemies except the champions despawn. So it is a strat that I also make use of when we get to one of the last phases and the last ship comes. We usually just capture the entire last phase and despawn the enemies. Alright, there should be that one anti-barrier and now 2 overloads. Them dead, we can go inside. In this room here, this is where I think the storm grenades are going to come in handy quite a lot. All the next parts of the GM are very small rooms with lots of enemies. Now for a safe spot when we get in here, I always like going left. And you can kind of chill in these hallways down here. Enemies can still push you, but it does make it a bit safer, because you can just kind of hide in here. You do get a couple of enemies that spawn out of the side up here, but you can kill them. My forbearance would have probably wrecked them up. Again, this is where we can kind of make use of our storm grenades before we then take on the champions. Another thing to make note of is, even when enemies are being tethered like that, you can kill the tethered enemies with your supers. So what I can do here is I could just super and kill all those vandals if I wanted. Makes all the sniper vandals a lot easier to deal with. Alright, with the Overload Captain dead, we're actually going to get more snipers spawning and also another Overload spawning. As soon as you kill one of the champions, the extra spawns start happening. Alright, that's all of them. We're going to get in position for the next overloads. We're going to have 2 overloads that spawn in this doorway here. So Remedy's going to blow up the machine, and me and Frozen are going to get ready to kill these overloads. When you're ready.
Bro.
We can just throw our overload grenades. Use your thunder crashes if you have them. You can just insta-kill the 2 champions. Alright, we can leave though. No more champions, so none of those ads really matter.
Look at the arc charge.
I'll do it.
Oh, trust.
Remedy wants to do the arc charge. Basically, there's a few ways to carry the arc charge down. Some people slide with the arc charge, sprint and slide. What I normally do is jump into the ceiling, and it pushes me down. It works really well on a hunter. Works decently well on a titan as well. Alright, you had your turn, my turn.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll reach you first. But what I do ask is that my teammates don't kill the exploders as I'm coming. See, I just jump into the top and it kind of just boosts me all the way down. But if they don't kill the exploders, I can get all the way, dunk it and hide, and it doesn't kill me. If they kill the exploders while I'm running past, I die. So I always ask my teammates not to shoot them, because it makes it a lot safer just by running through. You can also, like, you know, try and put wells and bubbles at the end there to protect yourself as well. One downside about my build, I don't have any overload weapons, so I'm relying on the grenades quite a lot. But luckily my teammates have overload, making it not an issue. This section here can be a little sketchy. I recommend taking out the anti-barrier first at the back, especially if you have long-range anti-barrier weapons, because a lot of those adds that it's protecting, some of them have snipers and they can be quite dangerous. Take out the anti-barrier, then you can take out the snipers as well that are up there. And we can start working on the overloads. Throw that at the back of Remedy's head. The storm grenades are OP. On the slide up here, a lot of people die on the slide. Honestly, the best way to survive is to not touch your keyboard. Just let go. As soon as you drop down, just let go, or even your controller, just hands off and just let it slide down. I feel like the issue happens where people die is when they're like moving in a direction on the slide and then you get flung off it. So I always just let go of the keyboard and it works fine. Alright, with the boss spawning, the first safe zone, if you're not melting the boss, the safe zone is kind of where Frozen is over here, behind this little grate. So we're going to do a lot of damage to the boss anyway, but we can still stay over here at the start, because you can use this as cover if you need it from any enemies. But now that the section on the left spawns, you can see those heat sinks open up. You can use this as cover now. We can move over to the left side and stay on the left for the rest of the fight. Because we're using rockets, we're able to do a lot of damage and melt the boss. So Gjallarhorn and 2 arc rockets is what's doing that. Careful of the snipers that spawn now as well on this phase here. There's the first one already dead. There'll be a second one that spawns as well. There it is. It's funny, Wishender showed it to me before it even came around the corner. Alright, everything's dead. We're going to get the bubble. Now we can melt the boss. If you don't melt the boss, you will have snipers spawning from the sides. So you got to be really careful of those. Those are your biggest threat. If you've got the boss chasing you, worst comes to worst, just need to stay away from the boss and watch the snipers. They'll be your biggest threat. So if everyone else is dead and you're last alive, just keep running around, focusing the snipers until you can res your allies. Other than that, good luck.